This video describes the science of how volts and amps can possibly kill you. Volts and amps are two very different things. Amps are known as current, is defined as how much charge passes per unit of time, and volts is the amount of energy per unit of charge. This relates to the common saying, it's not the volts that kill you, it's the amps. This can be proven wrong by Ohm's law is a linear relationship, as when the volts increase, so do the amount of amps. You can't have amps without volts. For humans, a higher amount of volts passing through the body lowers the skin's resistance. It doesn't take a lot of current for it to be dangerous, as only 1 milliamp is barely noticeable. At 16 milliamps is the maximum amps before you can't let go because your muscles start flexing beyond your control. At 20 milliamps, paralysis of respiratory muscles in which you can't breathe. At 100 milliamps, ventricular fibrillation starts happening, which means your heart starts quivering and not beating right, and it can't pump blood right, which leads to death. And at 2 amps, cardiac standstill happens, which the heart stops moving altogether. Volts, however, have a general guideline that 0 to 30 volts is safe, but at 30 to 50 volts is dangerous, and anything above 50 volts is deadly. Static electricity is an exception, as it can conduct thousands of volts of electricity, but is thought as harmless. An example would be a person rubbing their feet across a carpet and then touching a metal object for the electrons from the electricity to leave the body and causing a short but painful shock. That is because there is a dangerous amount of amps or current going through your body, up to 8 amps, which is way past the safe amount, but this only lasts for a millionth of a second, and so it does not harm the body. Wall power, however, has 120 volts, which is significantly less, but it has a current up to 15 to 20 amps that can pass through the body continuously, which makes it very dangerous compared to static electricity. An example is shown of a 300 volt DC power source with a human as a conductor. Human skin is a resistance for current, as it can range from 1 kiloohm to 30 kiloohms, depending upon the conditions of how wet the skin is, because the dead skin's ability to be resistor dramatically decreases when it becomes wet. The more wet the skin is, the easier it is for the power to pass through the blood vessels, as they are a good conductor for power, which leads straight to your heart, resulting in the body becoming more conductive than before when the body was dry. Also, as the higher the voltage becomes, the less your dead skin becomes a reliable resistor of power. All of this can be calculated using Ohm's law, and in this example, your friend would be experiencing 0.1 amps, which would lead to ventricular fibrillation. An example of the flow of electricity could be, if you didn't touch the power source directly, but you did with something that doesn't conduct electricity, such as a wooden knife, and put it in an electrical socket, you wouldn't conduct electricity, and furthermore wouldn't experience electrocution. All you would do is short out the outlet in the circuit breaker and cause an outburst of current, not affecting the person, just creating sparks of electricity. It is still dangerous, as it can start an electrical fire and further hazards. But who would be stupid enough to actually stick something in an electrical socket? I mean, everyone knows if you do that, you're just going to get shocked.